وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ.
And we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there any who will remember?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. Inshallah, we'll continue with our lesson. We'll do a quick recap so you can see how this is going and how these things are being linked and the way we're trying to go through the material. So we've so far talked about, and I won't write that because it should be, we repeated it many times now. So we know that there are three types of Arabic words. There are the ism, there's the fi'l, and there's the harf. And then the ism is the one that we were covering. So we talked about ism, and we talked about isms. So if you write, move from this side, let's go from this side to that side. Okay, so we had ism, and then the isms we talked about status. So we had the status, call that status. So we had the status, and status we talked about three different types of status. We got the raf, we have the nasb, and we have the jar. Okay, there's two. And the jar. So that's the status, and we covered the status. Okay, we've also talked about the plurals, and we talked about the table, and the table, that 9 elements, covers many aspects within that. And again, mentioned it many times, that table, it will be very useful to memorize it and to be familiar with it. And you should be familiar with it by now because we're going through it quite a few times. So we've got the status. The other thing then we covered was the plural. So we plural, and we said the plural was 3 or more. Okay, 3 or more. So 3 plus, that is the plural. 3 plus. So that's the isms, 3 plus. And we talked about how you got your sound one, sound, the split up into sound, and your broken plural. And the broken plurals, you got the human, and you got your non-human broken plural. And this one is treated as a she, this one is normal, and this one is she or normal. Either one can be used for the human broken plural. So we've covered that, alhamdulillah, as well. And now we're moving on to the gender one, feminine. So we're now covering the feminine, and inshallah we're going to try and do the gender and also the type as well, inshallah, with Allah's permission. So we'll talk about gender. As we said before, well, I've covered it a little bit. In Arabic, there are only 2 genders. There are only 2. In English, you have he, she, and it. Arabic, there's no it. All the its are going to be either he or she. Okay? In Arabic, he is huwa, she is here, and it, as I say, doesn't exist. So all of these it ones are going to go either in huwa or in here. So they're either going to be treated as masculine or they're going to be treated as feminine. So that's the first point. And with that, inshallah, we'll continue. So in Arabic, generally the words are considered, the way to think of it would be, the words are considered as masculine unless they have these kind of reasons which makes them feminine. So we're going to cover feminine, and by knowing all the feminines, then you know that if they're not one of these, then it's going to be masculine. So you got feminine, and feminine we split up into 2 groups again. 2 groups. One you can consider it as an easy group, and the other one harder. One easier, the other one harder. Okay, so just remember this, okay? So this is the order we're going through. We've covered the status, we've covered the number, we're going to the gender now, and we'll cover the type as well, inshallah. We'll cover the type as well, inshallah. We need a bit more space, so let's get rid of this. Okay, so we're going through the gender now. We're going through the gender. We're going through those that make it feminine. So the feminine, in English, the feminine, again, you can think of them as two types. One are what we're going to call real, meaning by the name, you know that they're feminine. Okay, so if it's mom, like mother, wife, sister, maternal aunt, you got examples there, paternal aunt, and the Arabic is mentioned there. Okay, ummun, imratun, ukhtun, halun, khalun, ammatun, husna, Aisha, so even names of female, so anybody female, so we know they're called real female. So that was straightforward. Real feminine, we know we're going to treat them as feminine. And common sense, isn't it? So that's as it is, okay? Because makes sense. But as you said, remember the it, a lot of the its or some of the its are going to feminine. So what from the its, which those which are its, how are they going to become feminine? How are they going to become feminine? Well, these are the rules applying to that. So we call those fake feminine. You got a real feminine, fake feminine. All we mean by that is by looking at the names, just trying to make a difference between that group and this group. That's all. That's what we mean by fake feminine. Everything otherwise it's the same. You're going to use the he. We're going to use the she, etc. So you got it there. We call them fake feminine, and there are 5 types, and we'll go through those. Okay. So the first type, as I said, we're on page 3 now. It should say page 3 at the bottom of the reference material. So we're going through that. So you fake feminines. How are we going to recognize it? Well, one of the ways to recognize it is by the endings. By the endings. So any of these endings, okay? Any of these endings, then that will be feminine. And you got the examples there. Okay, you got the examples there. So you got rahmatun. Okay, it's got that ending, so it's going to be feminine. And you've got your safra'u, colors. Again, ending is that. Therefore that, or al-kubra. Again, this is the ending. Those endings at the end means that it is feminine. Don't get too confused with this. Some names like Osama, some names have that at the end. Male names have that. If it's a male name, then it remains male. Okay? But we're talking about the fake ones. We're talking about the it's here going into there. Otherwise, as I say, that's the rule to follow. And all of those, so ending with that, anytime you see ending with that, unless it's a name of a male person, then it is feminine. That's the first one. The second one, you've got, again, a human body parts in pairs. Any human body parts that come in pairs are treated as feminine. So this is the first one. Then you get your second one, which is your human body parts. So body parts, but it's got all those body parts that there are two of. So body parts in pairs. And again, you've got the examples there, so I'm not going to go through those. You've got your shafatun, your lips. You've got 2 lips, ears, right? Hand, 2 hands, ankle, etc. Cheeks, 2 cheeks. Anything that's 2 of, heel, 2 heels, shoulders, 2 shoulders. Any body parts which are double, they're treated as feminine. Not male, they're treated as feminine. The third one is what we've discovered before, the broken pool. Okay, so broken pools are again described as and considered as feminine. Okay, the fourth is the names of places. 4 is name of places. Names of places. And again, you got the names of places there. Makkah, you can see that's a Tam al-But at the end, so you could say maybe that, but any other ones, names, Misr, Al-Maghrib, America, names of places are considered as feminine. And the 5th type is that, which is the confusing type. There are not many of these, but they are feminine because the Arabs said so. So Arabs have used it from day one. They've been using them as feminine, so they remain feminine. And they're not many, but inshallah, whenever we come across it and whenever we pick it up on it, we'll go through those as well. but those are when we come across it. Not many, but certain words are considered as feminine. And when we come to it, we'll mention that they are feminine, and we'll say why. Is it one of these? And it could be one of these reasons. The Arab said so. In which case, that word will always be treated as feminine. That word will always be treated as feminine. Okay? That word will always be treated as feminine. So we've now covered the third property. So we've covered the status, we've covered the number, we've covered the gender now. And we'll now, inshallah, move on to the fourth one, which is the type. And we mentioned this before, what we meant by type. We said, for example, if you had, let's take an example of kitabun, that would be, its type would be indefinite, okay? It'll be indefinite, meaning, if I said a book, it could be any book. If I say go and pick a book, and there's a bookshelf there, pick a book up, you would go and pick any book up, because from that you wouldn't think that I meant a particular book. But if I use the word the, and there's a bookshelf, and I said pick the book up, you probably, if you knew what I was on about, if it was in the context of I was trying to do something like looking at for a dictionary, for example, you knew that, you pick that up, pick the book up. If you're not sure what it is, you're going to say, what do you mean the book? Which book do you mean? You're going to ask more, because you know by using the book, I don't mean any book, I mean the specific book. And that's what we mean by proper isms. It's called here, there are 5 kinds of proper isms. Okay, so again, moving on to the second half of page 3, there are 5 kinds of proper isms. So this is the way, these are the 5, these are the okay, they mentioned that we've learned 5 times of isms so far, but here, all together you've got it here. The important thing is that there are 7 types of proper isms, and we're going through those in a bit more details. Again, some of these things we'll cover and repeat with other lessons, so it should become clearer. So how do we know which ones are proper isms? By looking at them, how do we know they are proper isms? They are proper isms, meaning that they are referring to something or somebody specific. It's not any person, it's not a man, we're talking about a particular person. Okay, one of them is the. We mentioned the isn't it? So one of them was the, and that's what we mentioned that as al here, la mutarif, al. And you got the example there. Okay, al-muslimuna, al-kitabu. So different from muslimuna and kitabun. If you just use that means a Muslim, a book. By adding the al, we're talking about the Muslim. Okay, not anybody else, the Muslims. Okay, we're making them. So al-muslimuna, so they have the al. We've talked about the al. Moving on to the next one, any names, proper names. Proper names, names of places, names of people. Any names, ism alam. So if you say Musa, Aisha, Muhammad, then we know we're talking about them. We're not talking about anybody else, we're talking about these people. If I said Aisha came to the house, you will know I'm referring to a particular person. Okay, not any person. It was Aisha came, not any other person with any other names. So we're making it proper by that term. So we got names, proper names. Okay, proper names. That's another way of making it proper, the one being called. If I call somebody al-munada, then it means it's one. The word after ya, oh, we translate it normally as oh. So if I say oh child, you know, I'm talking to them, I'm addressing them, it's that person I'm talking to, not any other child in the world I'm referring to. So it's that person that I'm talking to, and so that's another way of making it specific. 4 is pronouns. We'll cover these pronouns. Pronouns are what? I, we, he, she, they, them. All those are called pronouns. Again, when you say he came to the house, then we're talking about somebody specific. Usually we're talking about, let's say, Muhammad came to the house, he sat down. Once we say he sat down, we know who we're talking about. We're talking about Muhammad. We've mentioned him, we're talking about him. That he doesn't go on to anybody else. So whenever we use these pronouns are described as proper. Pointer words. Ismul ishara. Okay, pointer words. Asma'ul ishara, pointer words. Again, we'll come across these more, inshallah, when you come across them. Pointer words. What do I mean by this? This, okay, terms like this, that, those, these, they are all called pointer words. So if I say this book, oh, of course, and I've made it from all of the other ones. I've moved those out, and I've said this particular book. So it's made it more specific to this, and that's another way of making it proper. Another way of making it proper. 6. Connector words, called connector words, and you can see it in there, what we mean by connector words. Connector words. Connector words. Okay, so connector words, and they have got the alladhi, the one who, those who, those are the connector words. Okay, those are the connector words, and those are ismul. Those are also pronouns. Again, same reason why. If I say those who are, then if from everybody else, I've made those. I'm picking that particular individual. Like for example, say those who are clever. Then from everybody else in the classroom, I'm not talking about everybody else in the classroom, but I've made these people, particularly those who are clever, from taking them out from the group of general people of students. So that's a way of making it proper, making it proper. And you've got these 6 there, which is worthwhile learning as well. And again, the way to learn this would be go with the singular and then work your way from there. So it will be alladhi. That's your singular. This is male first. Alladhi, alladhi, alladhani, alladhina. So that's your male. And then you get allati, allatani, allati. And that's your feminine. And then the last one is described as after of. We mentioned it here. After of. This is something we haven't really covered yet, but we'll cover it when the time comes. Just example, if you say Muhammad book or book of Muhammad, because Muhammad is proper, then the book also becomes proper. But it's something, inshallah, when we come on to, we'll cover in more details. But these are the 7 of proper nouns. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.